And now let us speak about the tiny revolution that we're going to make in a highly overdeveloped market, the coffee market. And let me tell you about our startup, which is called Drinkit. This is the brand that was specifically created by Nastya Nikitina over here. Nastya has been speaking here last year on the stage. And what can you invent in the coffee market? I mean, it's a treaded and trodden path with a number of chains and coffee places, but we see vast opportunity. This is the product with the highest purchasing frequency. We have our guests going to our restaurants every single day. I mean, what do you do every day? You take a bathroom and you go to a coffee place. So this is a fabulous product. We want to make it digital. We want to make the service system digitized, providing our clients and guests the awesomest quality product. This is a fragile product, by the way. Today, we shall tell you about how complex coffee making might get, and we want the technologies to become more transparent. We want to make people return. We want to communicate with our guests. We want to use the tech to make the best product and do it in a stable way. This spring this year, the Drinkit team was joined by Denis Chernobayev. Denis Chernobayev has been with us for many years. He's been doing so many things. He's been promoting Dodo in China. He's been developing products and different formats of the products. And Denis joined to become the business leader for Drinkit startup. While our company is just very flexible and surprisingly so, Nastya is here. She's not leaving. She's in the team, mostly focused on the development of the product part because this is her passion. Coffee is her passion as a product, and Denis will be in charge of the operational part so that the entire team would be going towards truly making a revolution in the market. I mean, in a positive sense of it. So I invite to the stage, please welcome Denis Chernobayev and Drinkit. Drink it, baby.
Don't смотреть на нас, это супер круто.
Thank you. Hello, friends. Hi, everyone. You know, thank you. Applause wouldn't hurt, actually. So, as Fyodor mentioned, in the 5 years that I've been in the company, I have done different things. I started developing our business in China, and I spent about a year in China, in this wonderful country. I was managing partner at a pizza restaurant and creating new formats. This photograph, I took it on March 2nd this year. This was the first working day for me at Drinkit. I left the office and I felt this wide smile on my face that I hadn't felt for a long time, and I decided to snap this moment. And my hands were shaking. It's March. I'm, in the hood and in a hat. It was March 2nd, cold. So, initially what I had in the presentation, I had a lot of graphs. I had lots of really smart numbers. I was planning to talk about our amazing revenue growth, week to week, month to month. I was planning to say how amazingly our client base works. Our cohort analysis here makes any marketing specialist jealous, green with envy, because our results are amazing, and each cohort gives us a weekly return of 30% at least. We have great growth, and we also pay people a lot. About 3 minutes is our average speed of service, and about 40% of our orders we give in under 2 minutes, and of course revenue. For 3 months we have been in operational profit. In June we have had almost 10%. And we have our plans with lowering our price. And in 3 months, we will arrive at 25% growth. Our first coffee place in Samara, since the very first day, has been operationally profitable, and I would like to thank Dima Troyan and all of his team, and I would like to use this opportunity to thank them for the passion, for the energy, building this coffee place in about 16 days. This is an amazing result. It takes us 3 to 4 months to build a pizza restaurant. But why did I change my presentation? Why did I choose to scroll through the numbers so fast? I realized that this is not that important. Look at the serious face of this person. This picture is from 2006, Fyodor, where you were in your shop in Syktyvkar. I'm not sure if this is your quote. Profit is a responsibility of the business. But for coffee, it's apt as any, because coffee is very profitable business. High productivity, 30, 40 products by person an hour, which is really high numbers. There are a lot of profitable coffee places. We're not creating a new model. A model of a coffee place exists already. There are a lot of profitable ones. So why Dodo Brands is investing in this project? Why am I standing in front of you today? What am I planning to tell you today? So that's what I'm going to actually tell you about today. Why am I here? But what I'm going to start with today is a very short overview of the history of coffee. So what's important is that there's 3 waves in the history of coffee. So the first wave is the 20s in the United States, the 1920s. So coffee became this sort of mass product and became on the counter and in every home, beans and ground coffee and soluble instant coffee eventually. And so it really became a household product. The second wave is in the 70s. This particular picture was taken in 1971 in the United States of America. These 3 wonderful entrepreneurs opened the very first store, not yet a coffee shop, but a store, Starbucks. And Howard Schultz became part of this company quite soon. This became a coffee place. And the idea was that you can have coffee not just at home, but somewhere else. And Howard Schultz is famous for his quote, we're not selling coffee. Starbucks is not selling coffee. We're selling the third place between home and work where the person can feel comfortable and have some coffee. The third wave is also the beginning of the 21st century, and also in the United States of America. Here, this is a Blue Bottle coffee shop, and they now have over 100 spots, and so not just the third plus place, not just the service are at the forefront, but the quality, the taste, because there are many different ways of processing coffee and brewing coffee, and so the third wave is really the symbiosis of the taste and the service and the quality. And what's really important and interesting is that there are a lot of coffee place chains from the second wave, Starbucks and Costa Coffee and Travelers Coffee and Tim Hortons, but there are no mass new coffee chains for the third wave. The Blue Bottle has 100 coffee shops. In the UK, we have hundreds. In Russia, we have Double B. So it's within, this range, about 100 coffee places. Why aren't the coffee places in the third wave not scaling up as aggressively as the second wave? And the answer is quite simple. Coffee is quite a fragile product, so it's really hard to scale up. It's really handmade. A coffee shop is a small factory where at every single time, at every single moment, there's a handmade quality product being prepared. You cannot teach a good barista as fast as you can train someone to make pizza. So 3 to 4 months are needed to make sure to train someone to all the nuances of making coffee, how to pour milk, how to brew coffee. Very high competition of people. It's a profitable business. And so the coffee places actually compete for people. And it has a really low entry threshold in this business. So if you're really great as a barista, and if you work at a private coffee shop, and you can rent a really good coffee machine for 15,000 rubles. You can buy really good coffee beans from Moscow hippy-dippy coffee roasters and open your own little coffee shop. So the low entry threshold and really high competition for staff. This is something, and the fact that it takes a really long time to train a good barista, so this is something that halts the business. So I looked at all of this and I realized jackpot. So many difficulties, so many challenges to create a big chain. So that means that we have this unique chance. So in my presentation today, I would like to focus on the 3 main key moments, bases of Drinkit. 3 main things: people, quality control, and emotional connection with the guests. So we'll start with the people. So 57% of our revenue today are brought to us by people who come to us more often than 3 times a week. It is not a very big amount of people, 100 to 200 people, but it's a lion's share of our revenue. So just think about this trust. Every day, people are at home and people are at work, and almost every day they're at our coffee place. And so every single guest is so important, and a mistake can be a very high cost, if it's made. So the barista is a key person. So we need to really work through a very efficient system of working with the team. The first basis of this team culture is a culture from the team system, and its attitude to oneself. We want people who respect themselves and at the same time are critical towards themselves in terms of wanting to move forward and develop and grow and pursue knowledge and be proud of their achievements. The second thing is their attitude to product. Coffee is a deep and complex product. A cup of espresso made out of Kenyan beans can really take you to another part of the world. It's a simple thought, but there's a lot of depth and a lot of emotion in it. So we want to work with people who, for whom this product matters. And of course, it's the culture of working with the clients, with guests. We want to work with people who are attentive to other people's problems. This is something that can be trained, but if it's not something that's already present in the cultural code, it's almost useless to try and create it from scratch. So this is a filter that helps us hire people. These values are at the core, the basis of our business. Second is the HR brand, the brand of the employer. We thought, what is the biggest reason for bad service in a restaurant or in a coffee place? We realized that the biggest reason is the HR mistakes. Why do these mistakes happen? Where are they made? First of all, really high competition for people, for the best baristas, and it's not the easiest thing to have a good barista. Secondly, it's just a hard thing to do. The most experienced HR specialists, even if they've done it for years, and they still make mistakes. But the most important thing is staff shortage. I think everyone who's in this room and who's watching online, we have all encountered situations when we don't have enough people to cover the shift, and you take anyone and everyone who has, hands and legs and who can cover the shift. And this thing also is something that leads to mistakes. So what we want to do is want to address this since the very beginning, investing in the HR brand to attract the strongest, the most competent people, to create this flow and choose the best of the best, the cream of the crop. So we've talked about the culture, and we've attracted great people and created a great HR brand. So next, what's important is to create condition of work. It goes without saying that we pay really well. So even possibly higher than the average market salary. But we do also want to focus on more complex things. So the kitchen of the coffee place, the bar, we want to make it very comfortable. We have already signed a renting contract in the biggest business tower in Russia, the Federation Tower, and we're working on creating a coffee place there that will be able to work with a big volume of people, but so that our baristas are not, so that their fatigue is minimized. And we are looking at tiny little details, all sorts of like where it all is, so that the bar, where it's all situated, so that the bar is as comfortable as possible. Then we have the uniform, which is comfortable and beautiful. It's a detail, but it's a detail that can also be a great motivation factor. It's just nice to come to work. You wake up, you come to work, and you're proud of this beautiful uniform. Coffee place, it can be hot, it can be cold, but the right kind of uniform that is apt for the conditions is also something that helps the baristas focus on the quality of their work and not their uniforms. Another detail is comfortable shoes, something that we want to factor in into our launch budget. But people are tired, their legs are tired, their backs are tired, they stop thinking about the clients, they stop thinking about the service, and the product ends up being not the best. Recreation rooms, tiny little detail and often gets discarded and disregarded, but people don't have anywhere to be able to have a little bit of a relaxing break. So for us, it's very important for people to have a bite, have a little bit of a cool down, pause. It's very important for our teams. So the right filter, the right basis in terms of the culture, we have created a strong HR brand. We're attracting the best people. We have created amazing working conditions. Next, what's very important is for us to train these people well. Veronica here, our head of retail, we have Vladimir Garipov, our training barista, and they've really started a training center. And we've bought all of the necessary equipment where we're modeling the preparation of coffee, and our office employees and our baristas can be taught and can be trained in making quality coffee. We're not stopping at this MVP. We're looking for a big space in Moscow for us to open a big training center, a lot of grinders, a lot of coffee machines, so that we can train as many people as possible and with as high quality as possible. We will not only make the offline training program, which will be great, but we'll also create the training app. And they will be able to track their shifts, their accrued salary, their schedule. And they will also be able to track new possible shifts. But in the same app, what we want to create and what we want to do is want to digitize all processes of the coffee place. So imagine there are about 500 operations in a coffee place, and we'll make a little video and a little test for this operation. So this will be gamified kind of training app. So they will, our baristas will know exactly just how much they need to do to train for a new level. And at the end of the shift, they'll have little testing bits and pieces, and we'll have to rethink the whole system of training. It's not this sort of concrete bulk kind of process or where you start and end, but it will be continuous, lifelong learning. It will be constant upgrading, and if you finish a shift, you do a little test with very simple answers, it will be able to track the knowledge and expertise of our employees. Also, the community of these baristas and of our employees will be created. It's an important platform for events and for things going on. And last but not least at all, the most important thing for our employees is the opportunities for development of growth. What the essence is here is when baristas come into a coffee place, what they are hoping for is development and growth. And most of these people, they want to do a few years of being a barista, but then they want to grow into R&D, become a chef barista, or work on menus, or even do something else. But a lot of our baristas are actually focused on eventually creating their own coffee place. So something that I would like to turn your attention to is I think we have created a new model. So because we're a big company, we can attract, under our guarantees and recommendations, we can get loans for good managers. Imagine if you're a great manager and you have great revenue, great numbers, you have great returns, great speed, it's very clean, it's a great team. So if you want to keep growing and if you want to develop as an entrepreneur and open your own coffee place, we can help you. We can attract these preferential rates loans. And so someone who just recently was a barista can become the owner of a coffee place. And it's a low-risk kind of activity and operation. So all this to say that we really want to give a lot of opportunities to our team, and at the same time keep demanding and keep holding people accountable, because coffee is a really fragile product, and so attention to detail is very important. When I was rehearsing this presentation, there are also skeptics who tell us, like, what crocks are you talking about? It's going to be so expensive. This kind of coffee place will never be profitable. It's something that I look at in a completely different way. What I think really does cost and what is expensive is losing people. Any kind of big chain analyzes how much money they lose on staff turnover, on sanitary certificates and training, on retraining, on losses with disappointed clients, with people who are not experienced, so employees who are not experienced. So all of this accrued is really costly, but to keep training people and give them opportunity to growth and keep them, it's the strategy that we want to keep. So I'll recap. This culture, HR brand, very good working conditions, training, and opportunities of growth. So next up is the quality management. This is a much simpler and much more condensed blog. So what we want to realize is in one phrase, and this is client return has to become a religion. Skeptic will say, are you serious? Like, this goes without saying, this has to be a religion. And this can just sound as a trite, generality. But what does it actually mean as a working tool? How do we make this quote into reality? So we realized that this instrument, this tool, can be quite simple. It's the trackability of our orders and order history. So I'll try to explain. We want to digitize all of the processes in the coffee place. So if something goes wrong, we want to know exactly at what point something went wrong, what mistake was made, and how to make sure that it never repeats again. So the first stage is the supply figures. So that's something that we can track online, the incoming supply. When did the beans come to Russia? When was it roasted? And this can avoid basic mistakes, so using products that are not up to standards or just simply too old. Second parameter is the everything that has to do with the coffee machines, and we know that there are a number of factors there that influence the quality. So it's how fine the ground is, how much the coffee tablet weighs, the time of the passing of hot water, the weight of the product, the ready product. All of these things are quite easy to digitize. So if it's something that, if we connect this to our information system, we have an opportunity to track if things go wrong. And then the photo and the weight of the drink is another important thing. So we're really on the brink of creating this system so that we have a photo of each and every drink that has been made. The photo and the weight. So if anything goes wrong, we can always go back to what it looked like. Maybe there wasn't enough milk. It wasn't customized. If the client wanted a lemonade without ice, but we put the ice in, so we'll be able to track that in the photos. And then, of course, the guest review. So everything that I mentioned before is the kind of objective evaluation of the product, but the client evaluation, client review, the being open or being friendly, or all of these factors of the service will be able to track via this client review. So we'll always know which part went wrong. It's not the control of quality control, but it's the management of quality. So here we have Max, who used to be our loyal client, and for the past 2 weeks, he hasn't placed any orders. So what we do is we track his last orders, and maybe something went wrong. So what we see, there's a photo. We look at what they ordered and what they actually got. Was it the right product? We can also trace the video surveillance and how long was the service, how long did it take for it to be made, the product. And then we will also be able to track the parameters of the coffee machine. It was the right time of pour over, it was the right grind, it was the right weight, but the temperature of the water and the weight wasn't right when it went out. So it's something that we'll be able to address. And we also want to rethink the interface of the shift manager. So we want to get rid of the parameters that have no influence on the quality in the moment, but only keep the things that actually matter for the quality. Time. So how many orders we made in time, and on how many were we late? What was the most popular drink this day, this shift? Here, for instance, we'll be able to track that we're running out of oat milk. So we'll be able to restock if necessary and if possible. And of course, client reviews. It's something that we want to put into the interface of the shift manager's application. So what do the clients of today, this shift, think? Do we serve them well? Is the product high quality? And this transparency, the information being available for the shift managers is key to improve these parameters. So the emotional connection with our clients is our last part. Look at this photograph. It's one of my favorite coffee places in Moscow. It's called Surf Coffee, and it has this great vibe, great atmosphere, great product, wonderful guys working there. Another amazing coffee place called Double B. It's very cozy too. It's very nice. Both places have great coffee. Both places have great service. But some people like Surf Coffee and some people like Double B. So how do people decide? Why do some people choose Surf and others just choose Double B? And I think it's very simple. It's the emotions. Every guest, every person builds an emotional connection to the values, to the culture with their brand. So depending on the values and the culture that we put in our bases, we can work with the audience, and it can be big or small. Look at this photograph. So this is Nastya Nikitina. I think this is her usual morning. For 10 years, she's been doing this. She has a funnel here, pour over. So I'll use the clicker here, the pointer. So it's a scale. See, for Nastya, it's actually really important just how many grams of coffee she puts in. 1 gram minus or 1 gram plus. It's something that will directly influence the quality. So this is what we are. This is who we are. For us, all of the details are important. And just talking and just making sure that we put this message across to our customers. We create this emotional connection with the customers. Another photograph. What I mentioned at the beginning is of the presentation is that we want to build our training center, and I will show you a little bit more about this. And we want to create this sort of attraction place, not just a training center, but we want to attract people who are passionate about coffee, who are interested in coffee. So imagine a beautiful, very atmospheric coffee place that goes into this sort of open space, people coming in to work. And this is exactly where we're going to be a training center. We will have a laboratory with our team. We'll have a place that will help us create the meaning of our brand and what our attitude to coffee is. Including making it transparent to our customers. And what is very important is working with the farmers. So any coffee place obviously works with the farmers because it's the farmers who create the product. It's the farmers who create the coffee beans. Without the farmers, we wouldn't be drinking coffee. So what's important here is that there is an inequality and an injustice on this market. So Nastya was telling me about a film that she watched, or a video, training video perhaps, where she told me that there was a farmer who's been farming coffee for 30 years, who's been growing the beans. And for the very first time, he tries the espresso made with his beans, and he starts crying because it's the first time that he's tried coffee made with something that he's been making his whole life. Why does it happen? It sounds strange, but coffee is made in poor countries. People cannot afford buying coffee machines. They cannot afford to roast coffee in a quality way. So they will never have this kind of product in their cup, and it's really a gross injustice. So historically, all of the lion's share of the profit goes to roasters and importers and exporters and coffee places, and farmers are on the brink of extinction. Really, and many of them don't even know if they'll be able to work next season. And it's something that we can change. We believe that we can change, not something that we need, dozens of years to do. There are things that we can choose, that we can change right now. We can work directly with the farmers. The infrastructure isn't always allowed to buy coffee beans directly from the farmers, but keeping this connection with the farmers, even if you buy it from big importers and exporters, is very important. You can help the farmers with equipment, with investments, maybe also via big companies. But all of this gives an opportunity to the farmers to focus on their main job, which is to make great coffee beans. And if we do this, our baristas will be proud of us. They'll share with the clients. Our clients will share on the social media. And it's not something that we'll do to just impress people. It's really part of how we think. And this is part of the ideas that we want to realize. And we do think that it's actually feasible. And another important point in the emotional connection with the clients is our attitude to clients. We want to build a culture where taking care of the client is very important. A simple phrase defines it, is that every client should feel special. And at some points, it can even be digitized. So the habits of our clients can be digitized. So about 70% of people, they order via our app. So we know exactly what they love and what kind of products they order on a regular basis. They order, say, oat milk cappuccino every day, but then you make a mistake and you order it on normal milk. But barista sees that maybe you made a mistake because they can track your habits. And this way a client feels that we really care and they feel special, and we really want to make this cup amazing for them and special for them. But that's not it in terms of technology. We do realize that for a company is a tech-driven company and an IT-driven company, and it's the IT culture that helps us. So what we can do is start with very simple things. For instance, a very beautiful window display, meaning that we make these beautiful videos for our mobile app, and it's something that helps clients really feel the vibe and the atmosphere of our coffee place, even in the app, which are usually very cold and very boring, let's face it. Ours won't be. And secondly, it's an opportunity to place a quick order. If you're really, really in a hurry, you can place an order in one click. And it's a tiny thing, but it shows that we care because it saves every client time. And of course, customization that I've mentioned a few times in my presentation. It's the opportunity to change and tailor-make. We have 9 types of milk in our coffee places. We have a variety of syrups. And all of these are provide opportunities for our guests to create a product, the exact product that they want. And also, you can do it via the app. So one thing is you tell your barista that you want a coconut milk, a banana syrup latte with an eco lid. But that's a mouthful. So if you do it through the app, that's much easier. But we want to take it even further, and a great feature has been realized here, which is your calorie count and your caffeine count. We want our guests to very clearly see how much caffeine and how many calories they have consumed. So if they've actually had 3 to 4 cups of coffee, what we're going to say is, hey, buddy, maybe it's enough coffee for today. Don't you want to have a cup of tea instead or come back tomorrow? Someone will say that we're shooting into our own legs and we're stealing our own revenue, but we focus on building trustworthy relationship with our clients and showing them we care. And another great feature that we are set to make is, so you see different types of black coffee in the app, but right here in the app, we want to create videos with our baristas, talking about the different types of coffee beans in a little video. And it's a professional explanation of how some beans are different from other types of beans. And another thing to remember is that a coffee place, in addition to being product focused, is a place to gather, place for community, place to socialize. And again, technology can be used here to show that we care and provide this extra care and support. So you look at the app and you see who is in the coffee place, and you are not sure if you have enough time to stop by at a cafe, but then you see that your buddies are in the cafe. So you see, you stop by, you share a cup of coffee together, and it's just another kind of pick-me-up, another great emotion for the morning. Another thing that we will be able to offer, for instance, here, Veronica wants to organize a book club, wants to hold a book club meeting in our cafe, in our coffee place. And if it's something that we can actually do in terms of our event planning, we do say yes, and our managers they factor this in and they schedule this in our little community calendar, and it digitizes it all in the app, so people will also be able to know this and come to the book club meeting. So all of these interfaces is something that we really focus on, something that we talk about every day, something that we focus on, something that we are really set to realize in the near future, and some of it has been realized already. We do want to build a great brand, quality management, emotional connection, all of this to create a product and a company that we can be proud of. It's very important to take our time. It's a very complex process. Making a great training center is not something that you can do in 3 seconds. You need to find great trainers. You need to find a great space. You need to really focus on the quality there. And our fateful decision that we made, and some people might be surprised by it, we're not going to develop franchising in the next year. Actually, it is important because we fully realize that we need time. We don't want to scale a product that we're not sure about. We have not created the training center yet. Without it, we won't be able to scale up with the degree of quality that we need. We want to develop in Moscow. We want to make a structure, local brand in Moscow, and we want to create 20 coffee places in Moscow. This will allow us to realize our wishes and dreams in a more concrete and brave way. This is what I wanted to share today. If any of this is something that rings with you and this and speaks to you and resonates with you, I would love to hear from you. So do let me know. Thank you.